Take the high road to peace of mind. Who has peace of mind? What is peace of mind? When do you feel peaceful? Where do you look for peace? And how do you know when you've found peace of mind?
It's transformed my life. My life was almost over. I had lost the will to live before I found inner space and the Brahma Kumaris. I spent so much time in my own head where there were 1,000 voices that drowned out my own voice. So coming here has allowed me to be me, to accept who I am, flaws and all, and to move forward with my life and be at peace with myself, something I never ever had.
I always remember, like fairly early on, Rose saying, and I thought, your natural state is peace. And I remember thinking, that's not me. My natural state is not peace. I'm active and hyper and driven. And one of the things I have learned over these few years is how my natural state is peace as well. And I've learned to be able to get there. Whereas I'm not sure before that I knew I probably had moments of peace, but I think probably I was much more sort of fired in a different way. I'm still fired and I'm still driven, but I think having that sense of peace has enabled me probably to focus it more and to be able to use it a bit more and perhaps set the agenda for what I'm doing more. And so I think I'm probably more proactive than reactive since meditation.
Come by the hills to the land where fancy is free. Stand where the peaks meet the sky and the lochs meet the sea, where the rivers run clear and bracken is gold in the sun, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done.
Welcome to Scotland, to its warm-hearted people, majestic mountains, magnificent waterfalls, amazing wildlife, and pristine beaches. When we feel the pressure of living, we head to nature to get away from it all, where our worries and cares can be left behind. Or can they? If you grew up in the Highlands of Scotland, if you went to a seat of great wisdom and learning to study, if you travelled the world and saw incredible sights and exquisite beaches, would you find peace? Would you feel content? I didn't. But when I returned to Glasgow, I found a secret that enabled me to get back in touch with my own inner peace. I am the soul. I am peace.
I'm Shanti from the Highlands. Holness is a small but busy town 20 miles north of Inverness. I immediately fell in love with the surrounding scenery. I found a great peace amongst all the beautiful trees and the vast expanses of water of the Cromarty Firth. All this helped me with my meditation, which I have been practicing for many years. It made me tune more into the healing aspect of nature, how it affects us all so deeply. Also realizing more and more how I am responsible for all that I do, how my thoughts, words and actions are all my choice, no one else's. It is only by having this inner awareness that I will ever experience the true beauty within the self. Classes are taught in various towns throughout the Highlands, including Inverness.
Scotland is a land that still retains a lot of natural beauty, and those BK students who live in nature settings provide walks and retreats for people. We are there both in the west on the Hebridean island of Raasay and on the east coast in the fishing village of Cruden Bay, where those seeking spiritual solace can come and connect once more with their inner peace. Situated 240 miles and a 6-hour drive by car from Glasgow lies the Isle of Raasay in Scotland's Inner Hebrides. People get to Raasay by ferry boat from its more famous neighbour, the Isle of Skye. In the summer months, visitors are greeted as they get off the ferry and handed a leaflet inviting them to meet up later in the day for a reflective walk, given free of charge by a BK student who lives on the island. The walk is an opportunity for travellers to slow down, to sit with nature, to listen to reflective readings, and to then bathe in the stillness and solitude. This time spent enables them to tune into nature, the landscape, and ultimately to tune into themselves in a way that is healing and accepting.
Thank you for a fabulous walk. It was awe-inspiring.
You made it very special with your reflective readings and wonderful times of silence and stillness. It gave time to unclutter my thoughts.
I came home feeling very peaceful and relaxed.
Travel can be good for mindfulness, but your calm energy and meditative wisdom as we walked helped us not to get lost in the rush of plans and novelties.
That day did me so much good in helping me to get myself together and to sort out so many mixed emotions. I felt very much the presence of God. Thank you so much. Now I feel more able to cope.
We now take you to the other side of Scotland, to its east coast and to Cruden Bay, located 25 miles north of Aberdeen and originally a small fishing village. This would be a 220-mile journey from Raasay, and by car it would take around 6 hours without stopping along the way. After being on the high roads of the Highlands, one now takes the low road, so to speak. Instead of mountains, the land becomes undulating and a lot more arable. It truly feels like being in two different worlds. It feels so good to go beyond, to leave behind thought and speech and become quiet for a little while. Love for spiritual introversion, solitude and silence complement our life in such a beautiful way. It is as necessary for easy living as breathing is for physical life. For more than 25 years, a BK who lives in Cruden Bay has provided a residential retreat space. In what feels like a safe and nurturing environment, guests put to one side their laptops and smartphones and breathe in nature's natural silence. It is an opportunity for people to reconnect with their true selves, to come to realize how they truly belong, and that we all matter profoundly in the web of life. Time and attention can be given fully to one's thoughts, feelings, and life purpose.
To enter this place and leave the same would not be possible. It leaves you altered. The vibrations somehow sink into the soul to reach places that somehow have not been reachable before.
The atmosphere and attention on silence encourages the soul to discover deeper peace and stillness.
It's filled with peace, ideal for reflection, solitude and nurture.
There is a power of inner strength here that gives great support to travellers, and this place provides such sustenance that is greatly needed in today's world.
You have this wonderful refuge where souls can come and experience their truth and the wonder of God's magic.
The peace, quiet, stunning views and walks, I feel a different person in only 14 hours.
Welcome to Aberdeen Centre in the northeast of Scotland. Aberdeen is known as the oil capital of Europe because of its strong ties with the North Sea. It is also known as the Granite City because of the locally quarried granite stone used for the building of the Houses of Parliament, Trafalgar Square, Waterloo Bridge, Thames Embankment. Aberdeen is a Pictish word. Aber means the mouth of the river, and Dean is in reference to the River Dee, where the Dee flows into the ocean. For me, it has been the place where I've met the Brahma Kumaris and learned to meditate the Raj Yoga way. Meditation is a way of finding inner stillness, peace and happiness in life. We serve all different types of communities, interfaith, religious, the Hindu temple, but mostly people of all walks of lives and backgrounds who want to find solace, inner peace and happiness in life. In this ever-changing world, this is a real necessity, where emptiness, fear and loss can be filled with peace, happiness, love, strength, courage, meaning, purpose and direction. It is a really necessity in this ever-changing world. Om Shanti.
A great benefit to me, and health-wise, spiritually, mentally, every way.
It's helped me so much. So much, every aspect.
Is to be calm at this time.
Always find at least sometimes one tiny thing that I can take that helps me cope with the day ahead.
Is how to deal with stresses, how to deal with issues in ordinary day-to-day life.
Come by the hills to the land where life is a song. Sing while the birds fill the air with their joy all day long. Where the trees sway in time and even the wind is in tune. And the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done.
Good afternoon. The first item of business today is time for reflection. And our time for reflection leader today is Rose Goodenough from the Scottish Interfaith Council.
Om Shanti. That is greetings of peace. We're witnessing enormous changes in the world in many ways and are passing through transformational times where history is being shaped once again. It is as if the crisis that we face and the suffering that results are too much for humanity and the earth to bear. We deserve a better world for ourselves and our children, a world of peace, justice, and compassion. How can we bring about the change that we seek? In whose hands is it to implement this change? It's in the hands of all of us together. Hand in hand, step by step, we can move forward, making the right, thoughtful choices at every moment, being kind and compassionate towards life in all its forms. As children of God, we are all one family. The greatest act of charity at this time is to share compassionate love with all, to share our pure feelings and good wishes with each one. And for this, we need the foundation of our own inner peace. Is it possible to create personal peace in a world of ever-increasing chaos and change? Even 1 minute of peace can affect the whole of your day, and several minutes can affect the whole of your life. 1 minute is enough to make the greatest decision of your life. And today, I'd like to invite you to consider introducing regular 1 minute periods of silence into your busy schedule. If you're calm, steady and focused, and at peace with yourself, you can make phenomenal decisions in 1 minute, and these may be decisions that profoundly affect the lives of many others. I invite you to practice the art of inner peace. And so, taking just a minute, we can relax. As peace becomes a friend, we recognize its power. Calm thoughts and pure feelings permeate the atmosphere, influencing the mood of the room, creating an environment of ease and comfort, and offering well-being. This inner peace is stable, deep, and strong. And from this place of inner peace, there's clarity and wisdom. Drop by drop, we create moments of peace, sprinkling them onto the world, touching hearts, reigniting hope, at one with the world. I invite you to share such moments of peace once an hour, wherever you are and whatever you are doing. Om Shanti.
Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland, is a beautiful city, not very large, and built on 7 hills with many lovely walks. Over the years, since the first Brahma Kumaris Centre was established in Scotland in 1978, much has taken place, from participation in the annual Edinburgh Festival Fringe, with plays sharing the message that peace begins with me, through dance, drama and meditation, and also participating in the annual cavalcade with decorated floats. The work of the Brahma Kumaris is very much at the grassroots level, working with individuals, helping them to reflect and look within themselves to attain their own inner peace as they live in a bustling environment. This allows the individual to be confident in expressing their own specialities and develop their potential. The change is internal and reflected in their families and community. This is something that can't easily be measured, but contributes to a feeling of inner peace and peace of mind. Then, being part of Edinburgh Interfaith Association, interacting with interfaith groups in the city to create links and strengthen common threads between the different faiths.
It kind of confirmed for me that there were other women out there that were working to the same principles that I felt I was working through within, from my religious capacity or background of being a Sikh woman. And sometimes it was difficult to kind of find other people with a similar kind of thought process. And I think through the BKs, I'd learned that they're, you know, the way they worked and how they focused on the women being able to stand up for themselves, but in a way that wasn't aggressive. It was very peaceful. So I wouldn't say passive. I think it was peaceful.
Yes, it was a spiritual awareness into what Raja Yoga can bring into our lives, to put it in practice for us. And it's in a way of helping the mental resilience that we have to deal day to day, and now more in these challenging times. Especially, as we'll say, for me, that I am away from home for the last 28 years. So I find it very a good practice and becoming a new way of life that gives kind of that strength day to day.
We meditate on the different aspects of the self, experiencing the vibrations of the self and experiencing the vibrations coming from God, different relationships. And I think now, in these times in which there is so much fear and so much uncertainty, the important thing is to help people as much as possible experience their own spirituality in a very deep way, and also to connect with however they experience the divine, however they understand the divine to be, so that there is not that feeling of isolation.
This is a huge big group that's been led by a woman. And for me, like from a religious aspect, when you look at, all religious traditions, it's always men that are at the front. So even from within Sikhism, we have equality. We've had equality since the 15th century, since Sikhism was created. But there's very rarely a woman at the forefront of it. So to know and learn that at the BKs, the Dadi Janki was heading it and leading it, and to read about her story was very, had a profound effect on me.
Feels as if having branches of Brahma Kumaris in Scotland makes the people who are able to live locally and attend these meetings part of the more global community, and feel, as well as discussing and thinking about local issues, thinking about broader global worldwide issues, and knowing that people in other countries and in other parts of the UK are involved in these and thinking about it.
It's simple things that are presented, and that it's I think it's useful for people nowadays, because everyone is like looking for something that's not complicated, but they can practice, and these 3 minutes sometimes practice, or just being aware of the moment of the present. I think that I find very good through all the teachings of Raja Yoga and BKs.
I think with all the current day problems going on, the pandemic and the very big issues of climate change, which are being talked about a lot now, there needs to be, people need to have a more spiritual understanding of how they are involved in the world and what they can do, and just mentally to be able to resilience to cope with all these issues and keep up hope for the future, and how they can be involved actively in these issues.
Come by the hills to the land where legends remain, where stories of old fill the heart and may yet come again, where the past it is lost, but our future is still to be won, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done.
Glasgow is Scotland's largest city, and the River Clyde runs through Glasgow. It's known as a very friendly city. People make Glasgow is the slogan of the city. There's been a Brahma Kumaris presence in Glasgow since the 1980s, and recently Inner Space Meditation Centre in the High Street has moved to Shettleston in the East End. Still the same peaceful oasis, away from the bustle and busyness of this very vibrant, lively city. People enjoy taking time out to recharge reflect, and refresh their energy with some peaceful meditation. And to enjoy nature, it's a short trip to visit the bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
Cool, calm, tranquility. We love the word tranquility. And then the divine. If I think of the divine, what does that invoke? Sometimes it takes us a wee while to really get to grips with that one, but that one is the highest energy. So what does that invoke in me? I need to think of myself and my highest energy, and then think of the connection. I am a soul. Energy. That energy affects my whole being, and it can come through and affect the whole being of others.
And I found Inner Space a way back, got a wee date here, the 12th of April 2012, where I was looking for direction, and I've got in front of me the wee ad from the Evening Times, would you believe, an ad in the paper called In a Nutshell, Self-Esteem in a Nutshell. Yeah, come along, and that was on a Saturday, 11 AM, so that's how I found it, in the heart of Glasgow. And I've continued from them. The energy around you. So that's what Inner Peace can give you. And it's free, adoration. There's no contract. You don't sign up to anything. And you just keep coming back. Yeah.
Because I think meditation makes you aware of your own journey and perhaps helps you in some ways to share that. I think one of the things that I've come to learn about sharing in church as you lead a service is that basically you share your own journey and you allow people to listen in, as opposed to be telling people what they should be doing or what they should be believing. That for me it is about personal journey, and meditation, I would say, has been a significant part of my spiritual growth and my personal growth.
And I'm sitting here in Kirkcudbright in the southwest of Scotland. Kirkcudbright, as many of you may know, it's designated as the Scottish Artists' Town. And it's designated, artists were attracted here because of the light. It has a special light in the place that gave artists scope to create very beautiful images. And so I actually live here. There isn't a Brahma Kumaris centre as such here, but I live here, and in my residence, I've created a meditation space. I have been practicing Raj Yoga meditation since 1980, which amazingly, that's 41 years ago. So since then, I have always wanted that wherever I live should have the atmosphere of a sacred space, somewhere that when people enter, they feel changed in some way and connected with their own state of inner peace. And they're able to experience that silence that we talk about as the silence beyond sound. So what has the practice of Raj Yoga meditation brought to my life? One of my and ever deepening understanding and experience and realizations is really the power and effect of our thoughts, the influence we have on others, whether we're aware of it or not. and actually the fact that I have a choice as to what thoughts I create, and thus the feelings that exist within myself. And this not only affects how I'm feeling, but these feelings, they affect my physical well-being, they affect the people around me, they affect my environment, and it's unlimited, because what we're beginning to learn about as we begin to be aware of the thoughts and the feelings, which are very subtle energies, I begin to realize that I'm something even more subtle. I'm the creator of these thoughts, these feelings. And in that awareness, I begin to tune into myself as a being of energy, a radiant being, a being of light. In fact, a very silent being. And and I discover that peace that I've been looking for is actually there within myself.
Come by the hills to the land where fancy is free. Stand where the peaks meet the sky and the lochs meet the sea, where the rivers run clear and bracken is gold in the sun, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Come by the hills to the land where life is a song. Sing while the birds fill the air with their joy all day long, where the trees sway in time and even the wind is in tune, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Come by the hills to the land where legends remain, where stories of old fill the heart and may yet come again, where the past it is lost, but our future is still to be won, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done.
Om Shanti. I am a soul. I am peace. I am light. Om Shanti.
What step can I take to make a difference? It's often not possible to change what's happening around me externally. But one thing I have the power to change is how I respond internally to what is happening outside of myself. It's becoming necessary to be skilled in equanimity, in maintaining an inner balance and stability. That is within my control.
This is my inner world. I look out at the world through these eyes, the windows of my soul. Retreating inwards like a tortoise withdrawing into its shell, away from the many demands, stresses and strains of the outside world. I begin to discover the many treasures inside of me. Here, in the stillness and silence of my inner world, I can begin to discover what I was searching for. All the things to make my life happier and peaceful are inside of me.
We know that beliefs and attitudes affect matter, my surroundings, and the environment, so that if I am focused on positive energy, then a higher justice will take care of everything in the right way. Further, what I can do is to take energy from the Supreme Being, that unique soul that is the eternal source of goodness. For a moment, imagine you are looking down on the world and that above you there is a divine, pure and beautiful light. It is the light of the Supreme Being, sending pure, loving, restorative energy. Feel the power of this light as it cascades down over you and onto the world below. Feel the energy of this light as it pours over you like a waterfall, washing away all the worries of the world, cleansing every mind and refreshing every heart.
Connecting with soul, the divine. All souls belong to the one divine. As I begin to understand the self as light, as peace, as love, as a being of happiness, I begin to feel there's another as a support. I can feel that feeling of belonging. Of belonging to the whole world. That support, that strength, that company opens a door to the world, for the self, for the soul. I can realize, I can feel that I am a soul. All souls of the world are my brothers. When I have the company of the divine, I can understand I belong to the family of the world. It's steady, its strength. The soul is light. All souls belong to the one divine. I am a soul. Om Shanti.